Hey, what's up, EquinoxCinema? Obviously, it's Captain Obvious, and welcome to my Battlefield 3 Conquest map analysis for Operation Firestorm in Battlefield 3. Now, Operation Firestorm is one of the biggest maps in Battlefield 3 on both the console and the PC. It is, in my opinion, I think it's the biggest tank battle in the game. Even has more vehicles than Caspian Border, actually, which I found was surprising. It's an absolutely huge map. We got a lot of air battles going on. We got a huge ground battle going on in the middle. It's just a fun time playing this map. So, like usual, let's start off with our vehicle strategies and spawn times. Now, the US, they start in this little area right here that you see. It's like a fueling station, I guess. And the Russians start off in an outpost in like the far other reaches of the fueling station, or like the fuel depot and the warehouses in the middle of the map. The US team have Growler ITVs, spawn time of 5 seconds. They have 3 Abram tanks, each with spawn times of 20 seconds. They have a Viper with a spawn time of 60 seconds. That's the attack helicopter. They have a Huey Venom with a respawn time of 90 seconds. And they have 2 Super Hornets, each with spawn times of 40 seconds. And they also have an indestructible anti-air gun, which pissed me off. And then the Russians have a Buggy, spawn time 5 seconds, T-90 tank, spawn time 20 seconds, their attack helicopter, the Havoc has a spawn time of 60 seconds, their transport helicopter has a spawn time of 90 seconds, and they have 2 planes with spawn times of 40 seconds, and they have a anti-air gun. Now, strategy for vehicles. Pretty much all you want to do is you want to get your best pilots in the sky as soon as possible. It's a huge air battle because there are 8 air vehicles in the sky at one time. Each team has 4 respectively. So if you have your fighter jets focusing on each other, you may have your helicopters focusing on each other, and you want the transport helicopters to transport your men to the bases as soon as possible. You also want to get your tanks in there ASAP to take out the enemy tanks and clear a path for your all the rest of your infantry so they can secure the bases. The tanks are key to this map because they are so powerful on the ground and they can take out all the enemy vehicles pretty quickly. Now, the setup for this on console is pretty simple. You want to have CB or CB or AB. It's probably the most basic setup I can say. But in B, since it's so highly contested, that's where you want to have most of your enemies, your players. When the enemy wants to get to either A or C from their home base, they're going to have to go through B to get there. So if you have a lot of your guys at B, you'll have an easy time defending. So my only one tip of advice, pretty much for Operation Firestorm on consoles, is to have most of your guys at B, as it is the most contested area, and it's easily defendable if you hold up your positions. Now, Conquest on the PC is huge. We got 2 extra bases. We have E, which is at a army outpost closer to the Russian side, and there spawns a Buggy and a tow launcher. Now, these are only going to spawn if the Russians own the base. And then the US team has an office complex, which will spawn a Growler ITV and a Hornet launcher. And those will only spawn if the Americans have the base. Now, each team also has an additional tank at their disposal, and they each have an IFV. Now, the strategy for this is a little bit different, as there are 2 additional bases you want to take control of. If you're on the Americans, go A, B, D. Russians, E, C, B. You want to have 3 at all times because, like I said, you always need those tickets constantly counting down on the enemy team. So, E and D, depending upon which side you're on, you can usually ignore those completely. Maybe you may want to have a sniper or 2 or a support guy sitting there and maybe a tank or something defending it just in case. But since it's so close to your other bases, you can easily get there if you hear the announcement of the base being taken. Now, on Conquest on 64-player maps, the kit selection is a lot different than, let's say, it would be for console. Because of the drastical difference in the amount of players in the game, on console, I highly recommend going Assault or Engineer, or Support if you really want to. The reason for this is because most of your infantry will be focused in the middle of the map, where it's close quarters and you can easily get your kills just by using a carbine or an assault rifle. Now, on 64 players, since there's so many people, a sniper would be legit. You can actually use a sniper rifle effectively on this map, but make sure you're not in the mountains near each other's respective bases. Make sure you're near the bases. Either you can post up an E or D, or go near B, and you can get a full view of every single place on the map. Now, the reason I say maybe support is because support really is one of those classes you really don't want too many people on your team having, because they really don't have an anti-everything role. You could say that about assault too, but since they have the healing potential, you really need a lot of assault players on your team. So, and since the fact that there's a lot more vehicles in this map than on the other ones, that's why engineers are so potent, because you need those rocket launchers, you need those stingers, you need those Strelas in order to effectively take down the vehicles and turn the tide of the battle in your team's favor. So, a quick overview of your kits you want to have on console. You need some assaults, a lot of engineers, and maybe 1 or 2 supports providing ammo. On 64-player PC, you want to have a lot of engineers, you want to have a good amount of assaults, a good amount of supports, and a few recons spotting people out. And the SOFLAM is really important on this map because of all the air vehicles. You want to have a recon player with a SOFLAM. Even at B, it's a great thing. You can lock on the planes with javelins if you have a SOFLAM laser designated them. So if you have a recon player, make sure at least one of them has a SOFLAM. So I guess that's pretty much it. I hope my strategy tips will help you out while playing Operation Firestorm. It is one of the more complicated maps to play because it is so big and open, and there's so many different routes and strategies to do. It's kind of complicated, but I hope I gave you some insight on how to play it. Go follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Links are down in the description if you enjoyed the video. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.